Can you? Anyone? Excellent.
Fantastic. What about now?
No. Yeah, excellent.
You can hear us.
Can you still?
It's still working.
We won't fiddle with it.
Woo!
Hey!
High five. That clap might have been a bit loud.
Yeah, sorry.
So welcome to Athena Games. This is the lovely Rachael.
And this is the equally lovely Kieren.
Hello. We're going to be streaming our 4 p.m. pre-release for you. It is just past 4 p.m. now, so assuming things are running on time, there should be some magic for you quite soon. In fact, perhaps I hear the dulcet tones of Jamie in the distance handing out packs.
Handing out packs.
Yeah. So first up, we're going to have someone building their deck on stream, and then we'll show you some matches with that. So Rachael, we've played in a couple of pre-releases ourselves. I've just finished one.
Cheekily, he wasn't meant to be two-headed gianting.
Yeah, I was supposed to just be judging, but someone didn't have a partner, and I got to play. That's cool. I wasn't very lucky because I opened terrible cards. My partner opened some amazing stuff. He got a masterpiece, so go figure, and a Noxious Gearhulk.
But which one? Right.
The masterpiece was Planar Lens, the one that doubles your mana.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Which was pretty cool. It let us play Noxious Gearhulk a couple of turns early. We're just going to fiddle about with some of the settings. So I'm going to try showing you.
Oh, it's cool.
From here, I should be able to show you Extra Planar Lens.
So
quite a good card, Unlimited, it turns out.
Yeah.
Though, actually, we got quite lucky. In Two-Headed Giant, there's a reasonable chance that one of your opponents is going to be playing the type of land you exile. And this isn't just for you, this is for each player.
Okay.
So if you exile a plains, then all plains will tap for 2 mana. But if your opponent's got plains, then they'll get double mana too.
Yeah.
We got quite lucky in that our opponents weren't...
yeah, that sounds like it could get out of control very, very quickly.
Yeah, so that's one of the more fun cards to play with that we've had so far. Have you got any picks for particularly cool cards that you've played with at the pre-release, Rachael?
Well, you should know, being that we played together yesterday.
Yeah, but I'm feeding you lines. Actually.
Yeah, but even so,
that's how it goes.
Yeah, so we played yesterday. Team Yogosaurus, as we're known.
Yeah. And
I opened Chandra, who unsurprisingly is bonkers. So obviously in Two-Headed Giant, her +1 ability, which does 2 damage, or you can cast a card that you exile from the top of your library. In Two-Headed Giant, it targets both opponents, so you're hitting for an easy 4 damage every turn, which, yeah, as I say, was crazy.
Yeah, we very much had a protect the queen sort of strategy. Play Chandra, do 4 damage to you, chump block, keep Chandra around.
Yeah, hopefully we've got you on a clock.
It didn't really work out. We didn't do very well.
No, but then we didn't get any big guys. That was kind of the issue, right? We didn't get any of the stompies that you need.
That's actually something I noticed in the one I just played as well, actually. There aren't actually that many big creatures in the format. So, I mean, there are a couple in green. 3/3s are pretty big in this format.
Yeah.
This guy is a monster, Ridge Scale Tusker. Haven't been fortunate enough to open one of him, but he is kind of amazing. Check this out. 5 mana, you get a 5/5, and he puts a +1/+1 counter on each of your other creatures. That's
bonkers.
That is a lot of power from an uncommon.
James Gurney just going onto the table now for deck building.
Oh, excellent.
Thanks,
Thank
Jamie. Let's. I think I can. That's that one. Now you see us.
Yeah.
Oh.
Can we switch it?
Oh,
Hey.
like magic. So this is Mr. James Gurney. He's going to be opening his packs for us. We're going to watch him deck build.
Woo.
We are the eye in the sky.
So that, I mean, I can't quite make out what it is, but he didn't seem impressed.
No, that is, I can show you that card. It's a scrap trawler, I believe.
no.
Yes, Scrap Trawler.
I can see why he
is the
wouldn't
promo.
be. It's
Yeah.
not.
No, Scrap Trawler is decent. It's a colourless artifact, so 3 mana for a 3/2 artifact creature. When it or another artifact you control goes to your graveyard, you can return a cheaper artifact to your hand. So it's a 3-drop, so if it dies, you can return a 2-drop or a 1-drop to your hand. Or a 0-drop if you've lost an Ornithopter.
Is that the black -2/2 spell there, I see?
Yes, as one of the black removal
Which
spells.
is... I had a couple of yesterday. Very good.
That'd be a cruel finality. So instant -2/2, and you get to scry. Nice little combat trick. And as I say, there aren't that many huge creatures in the format. So -2/2 does kill quite a lot of stuff.
I think we just had the red... I think it might have been the red mythic. The one that's more like a Mario Party Commander Fun card rather than one that you might use in Sealed.
Ooh. Well, he's pointed that one out, and that's with good reason. That is a Heart of Kieren. You'll be able to tell I am sort of dressed up like Kieren right now. Ish. I'm wearing red. I'm steampunk. But Heart of Kieren, we played against that, didn't we? That was
hard work.
That was tough.
Yeah.
They had
a Chandra as well. It was thematically beautiful. But, not great for us. I was sitting with lots of swamps, 1 red source, not the double red source for my Chandra, so I was sitting on that since the start of the game. They were slamming us down with a Heart and Chandra.
Yeah, the Heart of Kieren, I think, is definitely going to make more of a splash in Constructed than Limited. You're not very often going to be able to use a loyalty counter from your Planeswalker to crew it.
No, that was very lucky of them to open both.
Yeah.
And he's waving something at us. Up here.
Oh, that is that's the white Anthem effect, I think. That is a Call for Unity, which is certainly a card that can really get out of hand. That's a white 3 for an enchantment. Creatures you control get +1/+1 for each Unity counter on Call for Unity, and it has a Revolt ability that puts a Unity counter on it. So at the end of your turn, if one of your permanents has gone to your graveyard, all of your creatures are getting +1/+1 from then on. That can snowball really quickly. Oh, that's a Baral he's got there.
He's cool, but not great in the format.
Yeah.
You need a lot of counter spells, right?
Yeah, I think in Limited you're playing him as a 2-mana 1/3, which is fine. He's got a little bit of upside. Making your spells cheaper can be quite nice. So he's solid, but I don't think he's really going to draw you into blue as a colour.
Yeah. It's just fine.
Oh, there's a Gear Seeker. Gear Seeker Serpent. Yeah, it's the one that has almost affinity, kind of affinity, and you can also make him unblockable. That is one of the big payouts for going heavy on artifacts. There is an improvise theme in blue-red, and if you can get lots of renegade maps and other cheap artifacts, then you can really power up these cards like Gear Seeker Serpent. There's a green rare there. That's Wildest Dreams, which is like a super Eternal Witness spell. Gets lots of cards back from your graveyard. Now, so you see James is sorting out his cards by colour to start with, and now it looks like he's sorting out
ones he actually would play.
Yeah. Oh no, he's put the giant monster. I mean, this.
Which one are we talking about?
Yeah, so it is.
There's lots of giant monsters.
Not that many. There's Fenhauler, and that's one he's put in the no pile. That is an improvised creature in black. It is a 7-mana 5/5, and it can't be blocked by artifact creatures.
I mean, I can
kind of enormous.
I can see why he would put it in the no pile if he hasn't come across any sweet artifacts, but he's come across like the heart, right? He's come across some cool artifacts, maybe, we hope. So I think with the improvise effect as well, you could be getting quite a beast, and there's so many artifacts in this format, they can't just throw a servo under it.
That's right.
It could actually be quite relevant.
Yeah, some of the bigger green creatures without trample can just get blocked by servos all day, but so that little line of text on Fenhauler isn't irrelevant. However, it doesn't look like he's too excited by it, and actually, if that's his pile of artifacts there on the right, he doesn't seem to have a huge amount, so you can probably just dismiss the improvised stuff straight off. So he's laying out his red now. that looks like a...
Oh, that's the surprise gremlin. Surprise gremlin. It's got a better name than that. There it is. Wrangle.
Wrangle. There are a few sacrifice outlets, and actually, did he maybe pull one out with his black? There is Yeheni, the legendary creature, the rare, lets you sacrifice a creature, and combining it with Wrangle and other cards which let you steal your opponent's stuff is quite an effective way to deal with your opponent's stuff.
I think I quite like a Yeheni. I feel like he'd fit into a lot of my commander decks, all those sacrificing outlets. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, you could have him as your commander if you wanted.
Yeah.
So James is going through each of his colours one by one, and just sort of pulling out the cards which are going to draw him into a colour, and taking the cards which are a bit less exciting and putting them to one side. I mean, those less exciting cards, they might be completely unplayable, or they might be a little bit niche. Like you can see, he's pulled out a takedown there, which does damage to flying creatures. So it's a good card for your sideboard, but not when you're going to play in your main deck. So you don't really need to consider that while you're deck building, particularly. It's just one to think about later. He's taken out an acrobatic maneuver. That's quite a cool card. Lets you exile one of your creatures and then return it to the battlefield straight away. There's a lot of enter the battlefield effects.
There are a lot of enter the battlefield effects. It's a bit like then the original Innistrad with all of like the cloud shift things and bringing things in and taking things out to get various benefits.
Yeah, cloud shift was in Avacyn Restored.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was another format that encouraged that, and that works very well with Revolt, which, as you were pointing out earlier, isn't really in red, which is a little bit odd.
Yeah, no, I assumed, but you know what they say about assuming, that it would be, but it's not. So there you go.
No, Revolt is more of a white-green thing, and I think there's some in black as well.
Maybe it's because they need a word for it because it's so strange for them to revolt. They need to make a big deal out of the fact that they're revolting.
Whereas red is just revolting all the time. Yeah, that's fair. So he's sort of laying out cards by mana cost now. Oh, you can see he's got a Welding Sparks there, so that's a nice removal spell he'll want to include. And Spark of Creativity. That's a card I've not been brave enough to try out. And that was actually in Kaladesh, and that's in the 1-drop pile there. It's a bit like Chandra's +1. You exile the top card of your library, you can play it, or if you don't, you do damage to a creature. The risk being that you don't know what you're going to exile. The damage you do is equal to the mana cost of the card you exile, and you have to pick a creature to damage before you exile a card. So you're not quite sure what's going to happen.
Yeah, and that doesn't feel like... It could be cool, like maybe if you've got some scry effects, but it really doesn't massively thrill me.
Yeah,
I mean the likelihood of turning over a land.
In which case you get to draw a land. So, or I think maybe you get to play it straight away. Ooh, I'm just going to reply to the chat. Hello, chat. How you doing?
Oh, stealing my fun.
Oh, you can be in charge of chat if you like. Rachael is our technical officer. She has had a 10-minute tutorial on how to use Twitch.
I'm basically an expert.
Yeah, so
I mean,
we don't anticipate anything going wrong at all.
I'm not saying I do have a degree, but I think I deserve one at this point. For proof.
So that's a fun one. James has got the electrostatic pummeler in his pile of 3-drops there. That is a rare from Kaladesh, and you can pay energy to double that guy's power. If you can find a way of giving him trample, I mean there's a constructed deck built around this. If you can give him trample, then you can kill your opponent now and nowhere. It's a bit harder to do in limited, but you gotta respect someone who tries. Oh, hey Gary, how's it going? We know people.
We do. We're not just strangers, honest. Well, perhaps to a lot of you we are.
Well, presumably there's a way we can see how many viewers we've got somewhere.
Well...
Oh, I can see viewers 1 over there.
Well,
hi Gary.
Hi Gary. Maybe Gary.
So I'm just going to bring up, make sure we've got the Kaladesh spoiler ready, because if there's a couple of strong cards that James has pulled out from Kaladesh, I'm probably going to want to refer to those at some point. So now he's combining his red with his green. So I guess he picked his red to start with. It had some removal spells, so that's probably why he went straight for that. And now combining it with green, that gives you a nice sort of red-green energy kind of theme. He's got the thriving rhino there. The whole cycle of thriving creatures are pretty strong.
That rhino's pretty good when you come up against it. As we were saying, there are not a lot of big creatures.
Yeah, it very quickly gets out of the range of most creatures your opponents can play. And then if they're not playing black, there isn't a huge amount of unconditional removal. There are some enchantments in white, but if you're prepared for that, and if you've opened some good sideboard cards, then...
What are we deciding here? We've got these 2 cards just here that he was shifting around.
That was the electrostatic pummeler. He just pulled that out of his pile, so I'm wondering if he's maybe thinking it's not worth it, or whether he wants to look at some other options first. I would like to see a pre-release game end with electrostatic pummeler. That would be amazing. I remember at the... did you come along to the Eldritch Moon pre-release?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, quite a lot of games there ended with Triskaidekaphobia, which is a very cool way to end a game, particularly in Limited, where you don't really have a way to abuse it. So you're
you're just kind of hoping. Yeah,
it's pretty brave. Similarly, going all in on electrostatic pummeler is also pretty brave. He's pulled out Gear Seeker Serpent. That's cool. I wonder if he thinks that's good enough without lots of artifacts, or whether he's got some artifacts he's had in mind. Oh, what's that foil there? Didn't get to see that. He's certainly playing his Heart of Kieren, it looks like. Though, yeah, Crew 3 is a bit tough.
He's picked it up, unfortunately.
He's been quite good in laying all his cards out quite clearly. Yeah. But we haven't quite memorised every picture from the set yet. We're working on that. This is the Kaladesh spoiler up here. Let's have a look at Aether Revolt. 9th Bridge Patrol. We just got beaten by that in the pre-release. I just played in Jamie Grinstead, the guy who owns the business here. He had one of those. He also had a lot of servos, and he was recurring them with Hidden Stash. I think it's I'm just going to check the name of that. Hidden Stockpile. It's got Revolt. At the end of your turn, if one of your permanents has gone to the graveyard, you get a 1/1 servo, and that's pretty good with Ninth Bridge Patrol. You get a lot of chump blockers that are going to get bigger.
Got a couple of comments on the comments.
Oh yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah, so Zafri7 says Gear Seeker is a great way to break through stalemates, which seem common in this format.
I think that is a good point actually. Yeah, there are a lot of chump blockers blocking the ground, and we noticed that in the Tudor Giant. We'd often have a big stalemate, and then flyers really good at breaking
flyers
through.
Or anything with trample. Just
worth pointing out the Dawn Feather Eagle in that regard. A 5 and a 3/3 flyer.
Yeah, was surprisingly good, right? We opened one, looked at it, thought it's okay, but we didn't particularly go into white, didn't play it, and I think regretted it for the amount it was doing. Kyle on a mission asked what were his rares. So we had a Heart of Kieren, didn't we?
Yeah, it was a Heart of Kieren, an electrostatic pummeler. There was Baral, the legend from Aether Revolt. His promo was Scrap Trawler. There was Wildest Dreams. And this is Kyle who's asking. You're not playing in the pre-release, are you, Kyle? Oh, he's got Hijack in his piles, pulled out there at the bottom. Wonder if he is thinking about the sacrifice theme.
It's the most intelligent comment I can do.
Well then, Rachael. I'm glad you're in charge of engineering.
Anytime.
Dear. Well, if you use any of this information to your advantage, Carl, then I will disqualify you from the tournament.
He has a magic judge. Beware of his judging powers.
Oh, okay.
All right, so yeah, like I mean, if you compliment us, like
Yeah, if you're going to compliment us, then we'll let it slide.
he has Dino Train.
Dino Train. I'm looking sideways, sorry.
Yeah.
It's slightly easier. I wonder, there's probably a way to rotate this, but we'll probably break something trying to do it. So Dino Train. There are new trains in this. Oh yeah, Untethered Express. It does look like a dinosaur. You're right.
Oh, now I know what you're talking about. Yes, that is a Dino Train.
And
You are absolutely correct.
And the train from Kaladesh was so good. I'm amazed, but this one seems to be even better.
I do really like it. I would quite happily play that in one of my decks.
Untethered Express is a 4-mana 4/4 vehicle. It's got trample. Whenever it attacks, you put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it's got crew 1. That's so good. Like it attacks as a 5/5. That's not likely to die, not without double or triple blocking. And it just keeps getting bigger, and it's crew 1. You can crew it with a servo.
In fact, I'm looking at that now, thinking that's going in the Marchesa Commander deck, definitely. 3 +1/+1 counters, don't mind if I do.
Yeah, that's true, though remember it isn't a creature all the time, so you don't always get your
That's true, yeah.
Your Marchesa shenanigans.
My Marchesa shenanigans.
There are quite a lot of shenanigans to be had there. So now he's trying something completely different. He's laying out his green, exploring all of his options. It's a good idea, like he probably singled out red as maybe the most obviously strong colour, but it's worth looking at all of your colours. Sometimes the synergy there maybe makes up for a lack of raw power. And he does get to play with Wildest Dreams if he does play green. I can't see that pulled out anywhere, but I would play it because it's really cool. Oh, he's just checking in on the stream. Checking on the stream.
Is that what it is?
No.
No.
It's
Gavra.
He's looking up some rulings.
Yeah.
I mean, he could ask a judge also.
Well, I mean, yeah, then he would physically. Well, that's true, actually. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, that dino train. Like, so the train from Kaladesh, that was amazing. Renegade Freighter. That was the 3-mana one. 3-mana 4/3 vehicle. When it attacks, it gets +1/+0 and trample, so it attacks as a 5/4, and it's got crew 2, and that was a massive beating, right? That is so hard to block, and pretty easy to crew. This Untethered Express is even better.
Now, I might be saying something that isn't necessarily the case here, but as far as I've seen, I haven't seen much removal come out of his pulls.
No,
There's been a little, but not an amount that I'd be happy with usually in a sealed deck.
Yeah, I see. I mean, he hasn't laid out his black yet, and that's where a lot of the removal is going to be. And I don't think he's laid out his white, which has not caught in the headlights, caught in the brights.
That's that one. Yeah.
Yeah, the sort of
the
pacifism.
sad gremlin.
Yeah. The kind of pacifism. We had 4 of those in our sealed deck just earlier.
Lucky.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. In fact, we managed to get 3 of them in play at once, and then we attacked with a Sky Skiff and exiled 3 creatures at once. That was a big traffic accident, apparently, with a flying vehicle.
Gremlin murder, indeed.
Yeah. Poor gremlins.
Yesterday we were just throwing gremlins under trains. That was part of the game plan, wasn't it? Save Chandra. Throw gremlins under trains. Okay, so we're looking at our black now.
That's one of the other... As you're laying out black, that's cool. One of the other rares that he pulled, actually, was Call for Unity.
Okay.
And that's going to be interesting when he lays out his white, whether he... how highly he values that card. Because I think the low end on Call for Unity is pretty low as a 5-mana enchantment that doesn't do anything. But it kind of turns all of your creatures into like a thriving rhino or something similar-ish in that they keep getting bigger and bigger. Let's pull out another vehicle there. That is the one that lets you untap a creature. It's called Mobile Garrison. So assuming he's playing the train and the heart of Kieren, that means 3 vehicles in his deck.
Has he got enough men to power the things is the question. I mean, heart's okay, but
Yeah, I mean,
What?
he's still laying things out now at, this is called for Unity, green-white. No masterpieces, it's worth noting. That's sad.
just out of sadness, yeah. rather than-
Yeah, it would be, it'd be cool to see someone open one. I've not opened a masterpiece yet, though I did open a few expeditions. I guess I'm not really.
yeah,
Can't
same.
feel too hard done by.
Expeditions are super cool.
Oh look, he's got the bird.
Which bird? There are plenty of birds.
The
oh, hello. What are we
The
looking
pink
at?
dawn feather eagle. Oh, he's debating between. That is a combo, isn't it? Wow, that is a point. Electrostatic pummeler with. I have to check the name of the green-white pump spell. But it pumps for rather a lot, doesn't it? Engineered Might. 5 mana sorcery. Choose one. Target creature gets +5/+5 and trample until end of turn. Or creatures you control get +2/+2 and vigilance until end of turn. Now, we were talking about board stalls a moment ago.
Yeah.
How they seem to happen quite a lot in this format. That is certainly a way to break through a board stall. Using that on Pummeler, it comes with 2 power to start with. That'd be 7 power, trample. You can then use its ability to double it.
It's pretty
14.
bonkers.
Wow. So it looks like Gary opened a Paradox Engine masterpiece. Nice.
Aww,
they're-
that's super cool.
Yeah, that's a really cool one as well. I wouldn't mind one of those for my commander deck.
Congrats.
Yeah, there've been a lot of masterpieces. I think we've seen more masterpieces open for this pre-release than the last one.
Last one we didn't see many at all though.
Yeah, they
Like
seem quite
what,
rare.
3 was
Yeah.
it, or less than that?
And curiously, we've seen quite a few duplicates as well. There was at the midnight pre-release, there were 2 Chalice of the Voids opened,
That's a
and
card I wouldn't mind a masterpiece of.
and then yesterday there were 2 Black Vices opened. I don't know. Maybe it's a quirk of the printing, or maybe it's just a quirk of fate. Who knows? So James has been looking at this green-white deck for a while. I wonder if he's settled on it. It looks like he's got reasonably good beats, though he's a little bit light in the 2-drop department. He's got a Renegade map, which I do rate quite highly. Mana fixing is great, and being able to turn on Revolt is really nice. It's quite a low cost, including your deck. And James is going backwards and forwards on this electrostatic pummeler. Ian got 2 engineered explosives.
Wow. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's some kind of printing thing there.
I'm not going to complain. If people are opening cool things are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, certainly. Oh, he's got the so that's white 4-drop on the top there. That guy's name is he's the dwarf that gives him energy. Aether Inspector. That is that fellow. In the 4-drop slot. Not massively impressed by him. I try to avoid including him if possible. Right. 4 mana 2/3. Not very exciting. He's got vigilance, but he's a 2/3. So
There's a guy in red who does what he's doing better, right? Is it Aether Chaser? Aether Chaser, yeah.
oh yeah, he's the other guy who can make servos.
And
as well.
he just does it better.
yeah.
So
Yeah, he seems to. James seems to have abandoned his red. I wonder if he'd consider splashing a 3rd colour. He's got the Renegade map. We've not seen any of the fixing though.
I don't think so. I think at this point he's trying to. Oh, we might be going back to a past idea, but I think at the moment it feels like he's kind of settled on a green-white tactic. But,
Yeah, and he keeps going backwards and forwards on some cards.
Oh,
so he
we
doesn't
might
look
be getting some
massively
black.
happy.
Maybe he's feeling like he doesn't have enough removal. Maybe.
Yeah, he's pulled out all the white there. It did not look like he opened a huge amount of removal in his pool. In which case, going beatdown is a reasonable option.
But as we say, like beatdown in this format's quite difficult. There are lots of things that are very cheap and just create board stalls. We've tried to make beatdown decks. It doesn't work very easily. So I think control kind of has a upper hand in this format, just due to the fact of the amount of aggression that every player can put down, despite what colour they're in. It would be better to have big, tough green creatures and some control in there, I think.
Yeah, there's another bit of mana fixing there. The green enchantment. Wonder if that's because he's intending to splash one of his powerful white cards, maybe, or maybe he's just wanting his mana to be good as a 2-colour mana base. That's Unbridled Growth. You can also sacrifice it to draw a card. When I first saw that, I thought, "Ooh, that goes in my Legacy Enchantress deck," but no, it doesn't. I'm afraid. Yeah, there's a lot of enchantments in Aether Revolt that made me think that. There's quite a
I like the
rollercoaster
idea
version.
of you just like looking at a card and getting very excited for a brief second. And
Yeah, I
a
do. It's
crushing
like,
defeat. How many there today are Safri 7?
I'm not sure how many there are for this pre-release. We'll be able to let you know as round 1 starts, because we'll get given a list of pairings, and
There seemed to be quite a few when I was out there a little while ago, so I can tell you that.
Yeah, it's been good turnout over the weekend, really. I think what we'll try to do is have James on stream, as we've just seen his deck being built. We'll have him on stream for round 1.
See how it does.
Yeah. Oh, he's got. So I think James has maybe picked up on this board stall idea too, because it looks like the card he might be splashing is the white pump spell.
Oh, cool.
You can see it, he's got it down at the bottom there. I wonder if he intends to play that. It certainly can help Punch do some damage. That is Engineered Might. That'd be quite a savvy play, and maybe a pretty good read on the format, if he thinks that's worth splashing.
Yeah, no, I think if I were in his position, if I was going with this form of deck, I probably would splash for it. It's in one of my colours. We can, like, the board stall effect on both sides is too much. You need a finisher, even if you get in for some really good damage to begin with. Like, closing out those last 7 points or whatever it may be is quite a big deal, and something like that I think would do it.
Yeah, there's no overrun, is there? Maybe
No.
this is the closest you get. There you go. And no, he's gone back to the big
The big Gribbly.
yeah, the big monster. Is it a slug? No, it was a slug in Zendikar. It was the giant monster.
Jim the Gribble, I think it's called. Okay.
Maybe you're right, maybe. No, it's called Fenhauler.
Close.
Good guess. Has he pulled up 2 of those?
Yeah, he has. I guess he really does want to go for the...
Yeah.
Oh no, he's removed one.
One
That's
seems
fair.
more reasonable, yeah. He has got a Wildest Dreams there, so
I mean,
if it dies, he can
he
get it
doesn't
back.
really have a lot of artifacts to pump into it to use the fabricate.
The
Improvise, not
yeah,
fabricate.
he won't be able to lower the cost of it by that much. He does have there in his
So he's
4 drops
picked it up
a
again.
Wild Wanderer, which is a 4-mana 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, you can search for a basic land and put it into play tapped. So ramping is just as good as improvising, really. I wonder how many 3-power creatures he's got to power this Heart of Kieren. Wild Wanderer does qualify. But yeah, again, I think Heart of Kieren is going to be much stronger in Constructed than in Limited. You don't really get the advantage of Vigilance if you can't easily activate it to easily crew it. And crewing it with 3-power creatures is quite tough. You need the loyalty abilities, loyalty counters of Planeswalkers to keep it going. And be splashing another... what's that black card down at the bottom? Is that a removal spell? Oh, that is in fact Subtle Strike. Oh wow, I think his pool is definitely very light on removal.
Yeah, no, that is, I would not choose to play it. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a combat trick.
Yeah.
But more than a removal spell.
But what you're going to hit with a -1/-1, unless it's just to dip down that tiny little bit of damage, it's not. I guess the +1/+1 counter is quite good in a board stall maybe, but it's 2 mana.
Yeah,
It's a lot.
So to clarify, Subtle Strike is a 2 mana black instant. You can choose one or both. Give a creature -1/-1 till end of turn. Put a +1/+1 counter on a creature. So it's a 2 point swing in terms of power toughness, which is okay for 2 mana considering that some of it sticks around in the form of the counter. I guess James is just going all in on punching damage through stalled boards, and given that he doesn't have the removal to sit back and play a long game, that seems fair enough.
Yeah, Gary says there's a lot of X1s in the format. 1 Subtle Strike is playable. Yeah,
That's fair.
I can see what you mean. If we're going, and if we're going against the board stall theory, then perhaps that's what we need. Just getting rid of one of the blockers might be quite a big deal. You could be right. I might be being unfair.
Yeah.
I can see how you would be right.
Yeah, in Aether Revolt you've got a couple of good 1 toughness creatures that I think every deck that can play them is going to play. That's the Aether Poisoner, the black 2 mana 1/1 Death Touch. It's also got the ability you can pay 2 energy when it attacks to make a servo. And then in red there's Aether Chaser, which is a 2/1 first strike, and you can also pay 2 energy to make a servo. Both 1 toughness. I think if your opponent's got them, open them, they're likely to be playing them. So being able to kill one of those is very nice, particularly getting rid of the Death Touch guy when you've got a giant creature like your Fen Hauler, which otherwise looks a bit poor when confronted by a 1 mana Death Touch. The cycle of Aether creatures is pretty strong, I think. The black one in particular can attack in with invulnerability sometimes as a Death Toucher, and just start making you some servos, and then holds back defense very nicely. I think we had like 3 or 4 Aether Swoopers in our deck.
Yeah,
didn't
we opened a lot of the Aether Sweepers, and they were okay. I mean, there's definite, as there is in every format, definitely something to say about wresting control of the skies. But the only thing about them is that you don't really wrest control. You kind of sit like floating around a bit. You don't. They're not the pressure you need. One thing I would say is that we had the Revolt guy. Uncommon flyer Revolt.
Oh, the 2/2, yeah. 4 mana 2/2 who becomes a 3/3 if you've got Revolt.
Yeah, Night Market Aeronaut, there he is. Though the Revolt just didn't switch on. That's the only thing about Revolt. I feel like that would be a lot better mechanic in Constructed, because it didn't switch on a lot, at least when I played it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a product of Sealed, really. In Sealed, it's hard to get synergy together. In Draft, I think it'll be a lot stronger when you can actively seek to pick up Renegade maps and maybe some of the implements and that kind of thing.
So sleeving up.
Yeah, so he settled on green-black and doesn't look like he is. Oh, he is splashing the white pump spell. So he's got a game plan. That's good. When you have a pool which doesn't have any obviously powerful bombs, it doesn't have an amazing suite of removal, you need to craft a deck which has a game plan to win. Simply mashing a pile of assorted creatures together isn't going to get you there.
So he's lent the mana base slightly towards green, giving up a black space for the plains.
Yeah.
Which is probably, did he have much with double green cost?
I don't think so. It did look like he had a few more green cards than black, though. Also, of note, in his black cards, he had at least 1 Fabricate creature in there. I imagine he's going to be making servos in anticipation of drawing into Engineered Might and winning in 1 fell swoop.
We can hope.
We'll see how well that works out.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice lands he has as well.
Yeah, he's brought his own full arts.
He's brought the full arts out.
You can tell he's a pro.
Yeah.
Also, he hasn't already sleeved his lands though, so that is a mark against his pro level. Whereas some other people would bring with them ready sleeved lands and a pile of
Whereas
empty sleeves to put their deck in.
I think the super cool
Saves you a little
people
bit of time.
are the ones that have decided that they're not going to pre-sleeve their lands. What they're going to do is they're going to buy a packet of Ultra Pros on the day,
$1.99.
$1.99, and then realise they've forgotten all their lands and sleeve them up from the stores. And I think that's the mark of a winner, personally.
Oh, there we go. That's the fabricate creature there. I'm gonna look at his name. Weaponcraft Enthusiast. That's right. So 3 mana, 0/1. What? But you got fabricate 2, so you can make 2 1/1 servos. And then if you play Engineered Might, that is +2/+2 to each of them.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, and I guess if that doesn't work, his backup win condition is then using Wildest Dreams to get back Engineered Might and doing it again. What is that card he's pulled out there? He's using it to count with. I'm wondering if he's thinking about not including it.
That one.
Yeah,
Lifecraft Awakening. X and green. Put X +1/+1 counters on target artifact you control. If it isn't a creature or a vehicle, it becomes a 0/0 construct artifact creature, and it's an instant spell.
That's interesting. He's debating between that and... Is that the train?
I think it might be the train.
No, yeah, it is the train.
Dino Train.
He wants to play the train.
He should play
How many
train.
cards has he got there? Maybe he can afford both, and he's wondering whether it's worth including. Lifecraft Awakening I wouldn't call hugely powerful, but I guess you can make a giant creature.
Hello.
You are your first round
through.
parents.
Thank you.
Ooh, we
very
get to pick,
exciting.
We get to pick a pairing.
James Gunny versus Andrew.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Sounds like a cool matchup as well.
James versus Ian. Excellent.
Yeah.
Make it so. Thank you, Jamie.
Oh, Jamie,
Yes.
how many people do we have playing?
25.
There you go. We have 25 players today.
Not bad. Not bad. Not the biggest. We had 45 at the big pre-release yesterday.
Mm.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and I think also this is the last pre-release of the weekend, so a lot of people have spent a lot of money on pre-releases at this point. So,
Yeah.
it's often the smaller group on the Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, some people have played in all 5.
I don't think I'd be awake enough to be able to play a good game by the end.
I think Andrew was in all 5, and he actually won one of them as well. That was the main event. So the fact that he was up at midnight didn't stop him from playing well and taking down the biggest tournament we do.
Yeah.
James has got the electrostatic pummeler in there. He did take it out for a bit, but is back in the deck. And this looks fairly decisive, I think.
Yeah.
He's settled on it.
He's done.
At a certain point, you just have to think, maybe this isn't quite right, but we'll roll with it, and if it goes horribly wrong, you can change it in between rounds.
What are we doing? Deck box.
Alright. Yeah, so for our first round, then we're going to see James playing against Ian. So we're to see this deck in action.
Right.
And whether Engineered Might can get there.
Shall I see about trying to put this on around the edges?
Oh yeah, you can get up the overlay.
Yeah. So that one.
Yeah, that should be the right button.
Yeah. Okay.
Well done,
So,
engineer.
Tech expert. That's what they call me. Right.
So you right click it.
Right click. Yeah. Tech expert.
Yeah.
This is when they'll switch places, but I'll...
No, he's staying there. Nice
Good.
One. You can also edit it in a different screen. I'll show you how to do that in a moment if you like.
Cool. Deck name. Shall we just make it up?
So what we're going to call James's deck? Let's just call it black green and black green Engineered Might. That might be a bit long.
Just so you know, Ian is playing a white-green deck splashing blue.
Okay. And then Ian is playing...
Oh, that is not...
You could just put BG
Okay.
instead of black green.
I could.